Francis, how are you, my darling?
Yeah.
There you are.
There we go. I'm very well, Maria. How are you?
Gosh, you're great altogether. It's your first time to visit us down here in Cyber Kerry, is it?
It is. Very first time. And delighted to be here, so I am.
Brilliant. And we hope to see you in the flesh sometime soon when the borders all open up and we're all able to meet one another again.
I'll definitely be looking forward to that, that's for certain.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to let you off now to tell your story because we have loads of people waiting to entertain our Maria Watton tonight. Mwah.
Thanks, Maria. I'm just thinking the time is marching on, and the story that I have for you tonight is about time. Very important to all storytellers. So, most stories begin once upon a time, or Fado in Erin, a long time ago in Ireland. Or, as the Japanese storytellers say, Mukashi, a long time ago. But this story just begins because this story begins before time was invented. And a very mixed up time it was, because back in the time before time, things just happened. People got up, died, went to work, got into their pajamas, came home, ate their breakfast, went to school, got into bed, died again. Everything happened at the same, I would say, the same time, the same instant, but it can't because there was no time. There were no years, no months, no weeks, no days, no hours. Nobody could lose a minute because there hadn't a minute to lose. And then along came a man and he invented time, and that made all the difference. He went out into a desert place under a hot sun and he started to make time. Happy time, sad time, breakfast time, dinner time, work time, overtime. He made a time for everything under that sun. And he piled that time high like the Himalayas, and it stretched as far as the eye could see. You know what they say, and they're right. The man that made time made plenty. And then all the people had to do was to go up to those mountains, put out their hands, and take their time. But they found that time was strange stuff. Time could weigh very heavy on their hands. And on other occasions, it could slip through their fingers like the finest of sand. So a wise woman got out her needle and thread and some material, and she started to sew bags. She called these bags days. And then she got the time and she chopped it up into smaller pieces. Hours, she called them. And she put the hours into the days. But no matter how hard she tried, she could never get any more than 24 hours into one day. But still, she made the bags, she put the time in, and she shared them with her friends. Timeshare. It caught on. Soon, all over the world, people were putting time into their days. And as they got to know the time a bit better, they saw it was very unusual stuff. You know, you could open up your day and look inside, and the time seemed to stretch like it had no end. And then when you'd look a while later, the time was nearly gone. And some people didn't really like the time. It took on a personality of its own. And some people said it wasn't very nice. They said it was a thief. It stole them. It robbed them of their youth. And others said that it was a bad friend because if you told time a secret, time was sure to tell. But there were other people who said, no, well, time was no beautician, but he was a great healer. They said time could cure all things. And whatever the people thought about the time, the one thing they definitely agreed on was that whenever you were enjoying yourself, that's when time would disappear. So you needed to watch the time carefully. You needed someone to keep an eye on the time. And the someone that they chose happened to be an Irishman, a fella called Pat. Pat was given the job of keeping an eye on the time, and he was watching it, but it was very boring job watching time. So Pat took time out. He took time out to a pub down beside the sea, the Harbour Bar. And the two of them went into the bar through the crowd, and they got up to the counter, and Pat looked at time, and he looked again because the time had changed. That was about the third outfit I'd had on that evening. Time was always changing. And as they were having their drink there, Pat looked around. There, in the corner of the bar, was the best looking woman he had ever seen. Grania wouldn't have had a patch on her. He said to the barman, "Is your one?" The barman said, "Oh, that's Ebony Tide. Drinks in here all the time. Her and her sister Florence. Ebb and flow, we call them. In and out of here every day. The sailors love them." Well, Pat said to the time, "Wait here." And down he went, down along the bar to talk to Ebony. Now, the bartender had said she was a retiring type, but Pat found not at all. She was very outgoing. As a matter of fact, she asked him, would he like to go out with her now? Well, there was nothing more than Pat wanted than to go out with the tide. He said, "Wait here, I just have to tell the time." Back down the bar he went. The time was gone. He said to the barman, "Where did the time go?" The barman said, "Son, if I had £1 for every time someone said that to me, I'd be rich." He said, "But I told the time to wait here." "You fool. Do you not know that the time can never stand still?" The time slipped away. Well, Pat started to look for the time. He was looking through the crowd, and there he spotted it. Going out the door of the bar, arm in arm with Ebony Tide. Well, he tried to get through the crowd to catch up with them. But you know those people that are behind the time? They always hold you back and slow you down. So he called after them to wait on him. And even though he knew they heard him, time and tide, wait for no one. So by the time Pat got outside the bar, he had lost track of time. And he's been searching for lost time ever since. And I met him one time, and he told me that if he found the time, he would kill it. But I could never do that. I could never kill the time. Over the years, whilst time's a bit of a joker, stole my hair, left me with a few greys in its place, he has given me lots and lots of presents, memories, some happy, some sad, none that I'd be without, all who've made me what I am. So if you get one of those bags we call a day, and you open it up and you look inside, and there's a bit more sad time in there than happy time, don't worry. You'll get another one tomorrow, and there's bound to be more happy time in that one. And for me, the one thing I've learned from time is to take life easy. So I am going to retire. I am going to travel the world. I'm going to find that desert place where that man first invented time. And I am going to walk up to those mountains, pull up a chair, and put out my hands, and I'll take my time.
Oh my goodness, I loved that. I loved it because it was so witty and funny and uplifting and wise. Loved it. Thank you, Francis.
Thanks, Maria.
Please come again. Will you come to our garden again? Brilliant. And thank you for coming tonight. You're very good. So I'm going to release you now. There you are.